just how many people has Joe Rogan spoken to? A question that came to my mind while I was on one of my daily walks. I was actually listening to Joe talking to Jesse Itzler, I think that's how you say his name, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, what a dope conversation. Then I paused and I realized, wait a second. I can count on one hand the amount of conversations I've had with extraordinary people. Joe, on the other hand, Joe has talked to... Alright, before we get to the actual number, let's see how many people the average person will have a meaningful conversation with. Alright, so on average, we live for 78.3 years. Most of us remember people we meet after the age of 5. Assume we interact with 3 new people daily in cities, and there's 365 days in a year, plus leap years days is 365.24. In total, it will be 78.3 minus 5 times 3 times 365.24 equals 80,000 people. But this data doesn't mean all that much to me because this shows us how many people we will meet. I care more about the amount of people you meet and have a meaningful conversation with, where value is exchanged in the form of information or more. So in the spirit of the Joe Rogan experience, let's bro science this bitch. Now, I would argue that when you're a kid, your mind can't really process that's having a meaningful conversation. Maybe when you're in the middle school, that starts to kick in. At least that's what happened to me. So I remember a couple of meaningful conversations I've had when I was 10. So you know what? Let's use 10 as our baseline. If we assume we interact with 3 new people daily in cities, which equates to 91.2 people a month, then I think it's fair to say that only 1 out of those people will have a meaningful conversation with you. So let's divide 1 by 30.4 to get us the number of people we have a meaningful conversation with per day, which equals to 0.032. So with these updated numbers, the equation would look like this. 78.3 minus 10 times 0.032 times 365.24, and the total is 798. Yep, 798. That's the amount of meaningful conversations we will have in our lifetime, at least according to my logic and science, which this should go without saying. Don't use this data in your next research essay or assignment or whatever. But okay, let's see how you and I compare to Jojo. Based on the data that we have of the Joe Rogan experience, Joe Rogan, thus far, at the age of 53, has spoken with 919 people. Or rather, he's had 919 meaningful conversations. If we use the same equation and logic to determine how many people will Joe Rogan have a meaningful conversation with by the age of 68.3, then Joe's expected to have 1,184 meaningful conversations. And keep in mind, these numbers I'm telling you are solely based off the numbers that we see publicly on his podcast. We don't know what he does privately. Also, you're probably wondering, how did I get the number 919? Well, I really wanted to know the exact number of how many unique individuals Joe has had on his podcast. So what I did is I found this website online that shows you all the episodes. I copied all the episodes and I pasted them into a Google Sheet, and then I just removed the duplicates and I found the number 919. If that's not gonna get you to like the video, then I don't know what will. But anyways, this is why I, alongside so many other people, find Joe absolutely fascinating. He gets to talk and learn from people who actually did what they preach, which, if you ask me, creates an immense value out of a conversation. In addition, Joe's infamous for picking people who he is interested in. He doesn't care about your 5 seconds of fame. If you're not interesting in his eyes, you're not gonna come on the pod. It's that simple. You know, now that I think about it, the Joe Rogan experience is the perfect example for education. Damn, look how, by the way, we went from talking about how many people you interact with in your lifetime to how many meaningful conversations you have to now we're talking about education system. The Joe Rogan experience spirit is within us for sure. But anyways, let's just stick to the topic real quick. The current education system has 2 major flaws that the Joe Rogan experience takes an absolute big humongous dookie on. The first one is students are learning things that they don't find interesting, and students are also learning from people who didn't apply what they're preaching. Whereas Joe, on the other hand, Joe will only talk to people he's interested in, and Joe will, more often than not, talk to people who have actually applied whatever it is that they're talking about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what makes a conversation meaningful. All right, thank you for sticking through all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Honestly, I thought this was going to be a stupid idea, but I had a lot of fun making it. I thought it was really cool putting things into perspective and seeing how someone like me or you watching will compare to someone like Joe Rogan, and also just figuring out how many people Joe has spoken with on his podcast. I was surprised that I couldn't find that information online. But anyways, thank you again for watching. If you made it all the way here, I'd really appreciate it if you could just like the video, comment, share, do your thing, and I will see you in the next upload next Monday.